Before Katahdin, before the White Mountains, you get the incredible section of Vermont and southern New Hampshire on the AT. It's not feared quite as much, but to me, it was tough and epic all the same. Hey, what's up? Mike R. here, 2023. Myself, my dog, my wife, we section hiked 1,200 plus miles of the Appalachian Trail, the longest footpath in the world. We spent 13 weeks day hiking, working, and van camping on the AT as we moved up the trail slowly from Georgia to Maine. In this video, we are covering the section we hiked in Vermont and southern New Hampshire. If you're headed northbound on the AT, Vermont 9 is located at mile marker 1,619 on the 2023 AT, and the LYME, New Hampshire gap is mile marker 1,773.6. This is a 155-mile stretch. We covered it in 11 days. 37,300 feet of ascent and 37,800 feet in descent. A few need-to-knows for this section. This chunk of the trail in Vermont had trail closures when we hiked it in 2023 that we needed to navigate. The Green Mountain Club is a great resource for up-to-date trail conditions. We encountered trail angels doing trail magic in Manchester Center, Vermont, and in Bennington, Vermont. Be prepared to eat because in Vermont they love taking care of the hikers. The Greenwood Lodge, which is located just a short distance from the Vermont 9 gap where this section begins, was my favorite campsite of the entire section hike we did. The Long Trail and the AT follow the same trail for about 100 miles in the southern end of Vermont, and you're going to encounter through hikers that are doing the long tail through hike as opposed to the AT through hike. While this stretch is nowhere near as tough as Maine or the White Mountains, I think it's a great prep. From Brownlee Mountain in Vermont to Killington Peak to Moose Mountain in New Hampshire, there's plenty of steep climbs that are going to get you prepared for what's to come in the White Mountains and Maine. The Vermont trail towns included Bennington, Manchester Center, Killington, and Woodstock. And Hanover in New Hampshire is home to Dartmouth College, and you walk directly onto campus on the AT in this state in New Hampshire. One other thing to note, Vermont has a mud season that you definitely want to avoid hiking this stretch during. The mud extends across the state lines to New Hampshire as well, as far as I am aware. A few places we camped. We camped for 3 nights at the Greenwood Lodge, 2 nights at Gifford Woods State Park, where we camped on the trail. A white blaze was literally on our campsite. 2 nights at the Quetchi KOA, and 3 nights at Storrs Pond in Hanover to complete this section. A few other things that happened that were pretty memorable was Storrs Pond is a recreation area for Hanover residents with a pool, lake, tennis courts. But at night, what hosts 500 people during the day becomes a campground of just 10 spots right in the town. It's a really neat experience. And walking across the New Hampshire-Vermont border, heading towards Dartmouth, is a unique enough experience. But I was greeted coming out of the woods with homemade cookies by a trail angel welcoming me to New Hampshire. Another fun story was we met a group of female thru hikers in Gifford Woods. They received $100 in trail magic that day, and they decided to split a 4-person room at the inn at Long Trail together, which is an iconic inn along the trail. It was a great way, I thought, for one of the hikers to share their love with their hiking buddies. So the Mid-Atlantic region was pretty chaotic, but we settled back into a groove during this section of the trail. The hiking was still a smidge muddy, but it's Vermont. It always is, I think. The campgrounds were excellent. Internet for work was fab. The food was delicious, and the weather was extra nice. We also found dog parks, restaurants, and trail towns that we love to go with our long walks on the AT every day. In the end, Vermont and New Hampshire were 2 of my 3 favorite states, along with Maine, so you could say we saved the best for last. They're also the toughest, but the most fun at the same time. I've always enjoyed exploring this region of the country. I think it's a bit underrated, and the AT was no exception. The trail itself was in good shape, and honestly, I think it was the toughest stretch since Georgia in my eyes. Although, I gotta say, in a little, sneak peek, nothing compared to what awaited us in the White Mountains in Maine. As I said, it took us 11 days. We skipped some miles where bridges were collapsed from the floods. You could continue on the Long Trail for a wonderful 150-mile through hike, or keep going NOBO like we did towards the White Mountains of New Hampshire, which were off in the distance and we knew awaiting us next. Thanks for watching. Happy trails. Whether you're planning a through section day hike, you're a Trail Town local, Angel, or someone wanting to learn more about the AT, I hope it gives you what you need. Leave no trace, pack your 10 essentials, and until next time, Mike R. signing off.